Welcome to South Coast Radio, and today we are joined by one of the most exciting young voices in Afrikaans music and literature, singer, songwriter, poet, and artist Rikus Van Der Vleis. At just 23 years old, Rikus has already made his mark through music, poetry, and visual art. After co-founding the band Herleef, releasing his debut poetry collection Gebroken Psalms, and sharing stages at major festivals, he is now embarking on a new chapter as a solo artist. His latest single, Steeds In My, is a deeply personal song about longing, nostalgia, loss, and hope, reminding us that even through life's difficult moments, light always wins. So, Rikus, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here.
Awesome, Rikus. Great to have you with us once again. So, let's start at the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about growing up in Bloemfontein and how your upbringing shaped the person and artist you've become?
Yeah. So I grew up in Bloemfontein in a home where faith and conversation were part of everyday life. So both of my parents were pastors, and I was constantly exposed to questions about meaning, purpose, hope, and suffering. And I think this environment taught me to pay attention to the deeper layers of life. And as an artist, I'm still exploring many of those same questions through my music and my poetry and painting.
Wow, that's great stuff, Rikus. And your love for the Afrikaans language started at a young age, and writers like Eugene Murray had a major influence on you. When did you first realize that writing would become such an important part of your life?
I think I've loved language for as long as I can remember. And yeah, Afrikaans has always felt like a incredibly rich and expressive language to me. So when I discovered writers like Eugene Marais, I realized that words could do much more than tell a story. They could reveal something hidden about being human, and yeah, that's when writing became more than a hobby. It became a way of making sense of myself and expressing myself.
That's great stuff, Rikus. And you also mentioned artists like Antoine Gusson, Chris Christopherson, to mention a few, as inspirations. What is it about their music that speaks to you?
I think it's their honesty. Yeah, what drew me to artists like Anton Goosen and Bob Dylan, Jan Blom, Chris Christopherson, the list goes on, is that none of them hide behind perfection, and their songs are filled with real struggles and real questions. I think they taught me that songwriting isn't about impressing people; it's about telling the truth, no matter what.
That's great stuff, 100% correct, Rikus. And so in 2020, you co-founded the band Herleef. What did that experience teach you about music, performing, and the industry?
Yo, the chapter with Herleef was a huge learning experience. I think it taught me basically everything I know about the music industry currently, because yeah, we had an amazing time collabing with Jan Blom. We performed at a lot of places, and yeah, our first recordings, and also the realities of the music industry. It is a difficult industry, but it also showed me that talent alone isn't enough. You need perseverance, discipline, and a clear sense of why you're creating, why you're doing this. And those lessons continue to shape the way I approach my music today.
Awesome, Rikus. So last year you released your debut poetry collection, which is Gebroken Psalms. How did publishing that book influence your journey as a songwriter and storyteller?
Gebroken Psalms was an important milestone to me because it gave me the confidence to trust my own voice, and I think poetry and songwriting are closely connected for me. So the book helped me become more attentive to imagery, rhythm, and emotional honesty. It also reminded me that vulnerability isn't a weakness. And I think, yeah, it's often where the strongest art comes from.
Fantastic, Rikus. Now let's talk about your new single, Steeds In My. What inspired the song and what does it mean to you personally?
So, Steeds In My grew out of experiences of longing and memory. I think it's that bittersweet feeling when you long for something or someone. So it's about the people and the places and the moments that remain with us long after they've passed. And the song reflects on how certain memories continue to shape who we are. And for me personally, it's a song about carrying the past with gratitude rather than trying to escape it.
Awesome, Rikus. And just as you mentioned, so the song explores themes of longing and nostalgia, emotions that many people can relate to. Why do you think it's important to acknowledge those feelings instead of trying to ignore them?
I think longing is a deeply human experience. We often try to avoid difficult emotions, but yeah, they usually have something important to teach us. And yeah, nostalgia reminds us that something mattered. Um, Longing reminds us that we're still searching for meaning and connection, and I think meaning is so important. When we acknowledge those feelings, they can become sources of growth and even hope, if that makes sense.
100% it does, Rikus. And so also the cover art for Steeds in May is actually one of your own oil paintings. Can you tell us about the caravan in the painting and the symbolism behind it?
So it's an interesting story. Like you said, the cover work is one of my paintings, and it's a caravan I slept in after a show one night in Olival North, and I think it resembles the simplicity that I'm longing for. I think it's important to keep fighting for a more childlike view of life. It's like this inner struggle that I'm battling with to leave some of the stuff behind, but also to embrace the more simplistic and beautiful outlook of life.
Awesome, Rikus. So, as mentioned earlier as well, you're a musician, poet, and painter. Do these different forms of creativity inspire one another, and how do they help you express yourself?
I think absolutely they constantly influence one another. Um, Sometimes an image becomes a poem, and sometimes a poem becomes a song.
Yeah.
Painting has taught me to think visually, while poetry has taught me precision with language, and music brings emotion and movement to both of them. They're really just different ways of exploring the same questions and experiences, and also to express myself, because it's important to express what's inside of you.
Awesome. And you've spoken about the importance of honesty in art and creating from a genuine place. Why is authenticity so important to you as an artist?
I think authenticity matters because people can sense when something is genuine. I don't think art should be about creating a perfect image of yourself, but it should be about revealing something honest and something true. the artists who have influenced me most were willing to be vulnerable and try to approach my own. I tried to approach my work in the same way. So I think, that honesty is the relatable factor in art, I think.
Now, as you begin this exciting solo chapter, what can listeners expect from Rikus Van Der Vleis in the months to come ahead?
I think, looking ahead, there's a lot of exciting stuff. It's a very exciting season for me. Obviously, there's more music on the way, more poetry. I'm busy with a new poetry collection. I'm hoping to launch it in this year, and new painting projects. I'm continuing to explore themes of identity, and my goal is simply to keep creating.
Great stuff, Rikus. Glad to hear. So, before we let you go, what message would you like to leave with listeners who may be carrying memories, struggles, or longing in their own lives?
I think to anyone listening that are carrying memories, struggles, or longing, it's important to don't be afraid of those parts of your story. The things that have shaped you, even the difficult things, can become sources of compassion and strength. You don't have to have all the answers today, but it's important to keep moving forward and keep hoping, and light and love will always win.
Fantastic, Rikus. Just one more question before we close off with the interview. Where can the listeners find your music online, especially Steeds In My, and also to follow you online?
My music is on all the streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube, everywhere. And then I'm on all the social media platforms. You can listeners can go and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok under my name, Rikus Van Der Vleis. And hopefully they find something that can bring hope or meaning to them.
100% surely they will, Rikus, and that's great stuff to hear. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story with us. It's really been great having you with us today on the show.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and it was a privilege to chat with you.
Awesome, Rikus. Really great to have you with us once again. And also to the listeners, that is Afrikaans singer, songwriter, poet, and artist Rikus Van Der Vleis, talking about his journey and his beautiful new single Steeds In My. So be sure to stream the song on all major digital platforms and follow Rikus as he continues this exciting new chapter in his solo career.
The radio station you can't live without. This is your radio.
This is South Coast Radio.